Welcome to Dirty Casual, a Heroes of the Storm podcast for the rest of us. We're part of the Frozen Fox Network. I'm Bearcat, and these are my hosts.
Argyle.
And Big Oakley.
Yay!
Hooray.
So welcome to episode number 11, I
Yes.
think. Yeah,
Correct,
yes,
yes.
good. And we have had a pretty good week so far, right? Have you guys had a good week?
Yeah, I've had a good week. It was fun.
How was your Heroes week? What is
Heroes
this? The end of week 1 of Li Ming, for real?
For realsies? Is that
I
true?
think so.
Did she just come out last
I
week?
think
That
it
was
sounds-
2 weeks.
Yeah, she's been out for exactly 7 days.
She's been out for 7 days. She was on PTR 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what it feels like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's why it feels
So
like 2
1
weeks.
week later.
1 week
What
later.
have we learned?
What have we learned?
Share with the clans.
I've learned that there's a couple things about Li Ming that need to be adjusted, but I think she's a welcome hero on the roster. I think she's a welcome addition. What about you? What do you think of her?
No, I feel the same way. I feel
Yeah.
like people are crying like overpowered,
Yeah, maybe you're crying. Maybe you, the listener, is crying about her being overpowered. but-
and it reminds me a lot of Butcher's first 2 weeks.
Yes.
where
Yes.
like nobody knew how to fight against the Butcher, and people were like, "Oh, Blizzard, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, this guy is bonkers. Like, but all this lifesteal, and you can stun, and you can do everything." I feel like a lot of people are having a similar experience fighting Li Ming, and I don't think she is nearly as bad as the Reddit post makers seem to be.
I agree. And the big difference here is that I've actually figured out how to fight against Li Ming for the most part. There are definitely some things that need to be adjusted, but she's not as scary to me as Butcher was when he came out by anything.
So here's my biggest problem with Li Ming, and it comes down to what Blizzard said they were going to give us and what we got. Expectation versus reality.
I think that's where my problems lie as well.
So we were promised a high burst hero, flimsy, which we got, yes, but a high skill cap hero. I disagree that this character is high skill
I
cap.
agree 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that she can be, you know, she's not necessarily for the faint of heart or, an easy character to master, but she certainly is not high skill cap. There are certain builds which everyone more or less takes. I'd say there's about 3 builds people tend to take. There's a purely orb build, there's a mirror ball build, and there's a teleport build. And the middle one there, that mirror ball build especially, has a very low skill cap. It lowers her, just how hard it is to play her tremendously, because it almost makes it impossible for you to miss your magic missiles.
Which
and
hurt a lot.
if you get 5 of them to the face, yes, that's
Yes.
a lot. I mean, combined with the ult, it'll delete pretty much anybody that's not a tank and severely wound a tank.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that that's kind of where a lot of this is coming from, is this talent, Essa Johan, and her lack of mana issues as well.
That's probably one of the biggest ones. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's-
they also said that as well. They said that her limitation will be her mana problems, because she's mana hungry. She has a constantly reset. And
Yeah, the idea was that she would be getting kills with super short cooldown. She'll be spamming them because she has no auto attack power, basically. And she'll have to be careful what she does and doesn't do because she'll be out of mana and won't be in the fight. I have never seen that as an issue on any team that I've had a Li Ming on.
right.
She's always in it all the time.
Right. She can stay. So Blizzard has addressed this. They're going to be tweaking the S of Johan and Astral Presence talents, but they haven't done it yet. So I would keep your eye peeled for that. Otherwise, you're going to have another week of Li Ming as she is.
Is Astral Presence the mana regen? Like,
That's correct. Under 50%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that a level 1 talent?
Yes.
Yes.
See, what I would do, and this might be a little controversial just because she has no generic talents, is just remove that and give her Conqueror's Pursuit.
I think that is not a bad... She has a similar talent. Well, not really a similar talent to Conjurer's Pursuit, but she has some sort of answer to that, which is called Power Hungry.
Is that the one where like she gets the orb and she gets like a boost to attack power for a short period, or ability power?
Yes.
For a short
Yeah,
period?
there are a couple of heroes that have something like that.
And I believe that she gets more mana from them as well. I think she gets 100% more mana from them as well. So that's
Maybe
kind of
move
cool.
that to level 1.
That is level 1.
Oh shit!
It just
Yeah, it
competes with a better
Just
talent.
go- okay.
Yeah, it competes, yes. So we're looking at... And overall, Astral Presence is far superior to that talent.
Oh, totally.
Because you're not always going to... Really, what Power Hungry is for lane bullying, and she doesn't really need that because she'll just bypass your lane and siege anyway. So, here's the last thing. I just want to make one more comment about Li Ming. Is I feel like her natural counters, aren't very powerful right now. So we're looking at like Zeratul, who was recently buffed, and Illidan, who was recently buffed. These are sticky characters. They can stick to their targets. They can blow them up, especially Illidan. but they don't really pose as much of a threat to her as I think they should.
You could say that Raynor could be a counter to her as well, because he has one of the longest auto attack ranges in the game, and he can hurt very quickly, especially with her low health pool.
Right. I think that she could just run away.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean,
like teleport away. He has no gap closer.
He doesn't have a
push
gap
her away, but that just would benefit.
I don't think any ranged. So if you should compare her to Butcher as well, as Butcher is by design a melee hero, which makes him more susceptible to CC. Which is, I mean, that's why he's not as good as he would be, is because he's susceptible to CC. She is too, but because she is so slippery, it's hard to even get her locked down, which makes her a little bit harder to deal with, especially for a new hero.
If you can bully her around a little bit, though, even if you can't straight out kill her or CC her, her health pool is very, very small. Like, if you don't have to kill her, you just have to force her out of the lane, which still benefits.
I still feel like bruisery tanks are probably her biggest counter right now. Like Chen, Diablo, Sonya.
Yeah.
All beat her up.
I completely agree. I think the only issue with Sonya is it's hard to stick. Right. So I think Arthas is a good one for her.
Oh, man.
I think Arthas is good because he can kind of close the gap if he catches her. And since her blink is not very long, he can kind of range do that. Unless she's very good again. And I think, again, that raises the skill cap of this hero, which I like. She also has several weird, I don't know if they're bugs or working as intended. I don't think Blizzard has addressed this, but she can cancel so many abilities just by teleporting, whether or not they have a target or not.
And I haven't had a chance to do any real testing on it, but the ones that I've seen come up a lot are things like the Hunt and Judgment. And I've seen some people complain about Pyroblast, but the reality is those all have a range where you start casting, there's an animation, and then it goes off. And if you get out of that initial cast range, it will cancel. So I think what a lot of people are experiencing is they're trying to catch her at like the edge of the range, and she's teleporting before the animation finishes, and so it just doesn't go off.
I don't think that's a problem.
I
think it's disjointing.
I don't. So that's why I think that's interesting. We all have a different way of talking about this. So I don't think it's disjointing because, in my opinion, it's more of like disjointing is like almost like the last second thing. It takes it's a few moments where you can kind of dodge something, right? That's not what's happening with her. What's happening is you hear, you are not prepared. You hear that he's coming at you. It's not the moment he hits you. It's like just he casts
as soon as he starts,
and she can blink, and it cancels.
Yeah, see, if it was...
Judgment stops.
Yeah, if it was last second stuff, I would agree that it was disjointing.
And I would be like, that's fine.
And it's literally any time after it starts, she blinks, and it just stops for whatever reason. Somebody reported today, Arthas says Death Coil. Like, he would cast it, it'd be in the air, she'd teleport, and it would just, like, between the two targets, like, not even close, and it would just disappear. Do nothing.
Like, I can understand if he was in the moment of casting it, and then she blinked out of his range, that makes sense. But if it's already targeted and flying, I don't know, maybe it's not.
And it's not...
And it's not, it's like a seeking thing.
Yeah, and it's not like a last second disjoint.
Right. It's also not a skill shot.
Right. Unlike, that's just targeted.
I mean, it could still just be disjointing and it's just coded differently.
And that could be.
I think that...
but if that's the case, I think that needs to be fixed.
Oh, absolutely.
I honestly think what it is I believe that her blink is coded similarly to Tassidar's Escape. And I think it has invincibility frames.
And I think that's a general consensus on Reddit as well. There's some iframes in that ability where everything just goes, whoops.
This is like Illidan, right? What Illidan used to have. He used to have just iframes all the time using all his abilities. I think that she has that on her teleport. It's possible anyway.
So how does it work with Bolt? Does Bolt not do act the same way?
No, it doesn't. Bolt is
similar abilities?
No.
Bolt is completely different. Like, you can't bolt out of Judgment once it's going unless you disjoint it at the end. Same thing with the Hunt and Pyroblast. And I've seen it. I've seen it happen, so it's possible.
Another good example of this is like Butcher's charge. Like you can, for example, you can practice. There's a moment where you say your Kel'Thas Butcher charges you. You can stun him before he attacks you, before you get stunned, I think.
No, you eat the stun, but it catches him, so he can't follow up.
That's true.
Then you can just walk away.
And then you walk away.
And you can...
Because your stun's longer than his, but we'll get back to that.
And Muradin has the same thing. Like, he can jump at the right time, and he won't get stunned, but Butcher will stop charging. And similarly, when he's unstoppable, Judgment will still go off. You just won't be stunned. You'll take the damage, but you won't be stunned. And Johanna's unstoppable is the same thing. You can the Hunt to her, you can Judgment to her, but she doesn't get stunned. So
right, yeah, so that's a really good point.
So there's something weird with her teleport that's just making those abilities stop. Which is why I think part of that is that she's blinking out of range before the ability activates.
Or it could be that, kind of like what you were saying with the prescience or whatever that ability is called.
Yeah.
That Tassadar has, where she's basically just removed from the game for a couple seconds, and then, or half a second even.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Abilities are just like,
yeah,
this is weird.
And that's possible. When I was playing Tyrael, I had no problem hitting her with Judgment. Now, I don't know if it's because she never teleported while I was going after her, or what, but I blew her up multiple times as Tyrael. So, it works at least part of the time.
So, how excited are you guys for Free Li Ming Week?
That's going to be fun.
That will be fun, right?
Totally.
No, it's not Free Li Ming Week. Thank God. That would be insane. Could you imagine a brand new hero on the roster?
No, don't do
They'll
that.
never do that.
Well,
It's usually a couple weeks after.
It does seem like
it
that,
seems like it
doesn't
comes up pretty quick.
Like,
yeah.
Mahara was free a couple weeks ago, and she'd only been out like, I think a month.
Month.
At that point.
Too,
Yeah.
maybe 8 weeks or something like that. But let's go ahead and just talk about our free heroes for this week, and talk about our games that we had.
Mhm.
So the free heroes this week are ETC, Johanna, Kael'thas, Lily, Sergeant Hammer, Butcher, Arthas, Brightwing, Zeratul, and the Lost Vikings make their triumphant return after how many weeks? 60 weeks off of
A long
I don't think I
roster
have
since they've
ever
been
seen
introduced.
them.
Yeah.
I think at this point I've seen every character. Like, they were the one character that I'd like never been on the 3 weeks since I started playing. Because Murky'd been on and Avatar had been on a couple times. I think Murky's only been on once.
I think Murky and Avatar have been
since release,
Yeah.
but I think this is the first time since release out of beta that Lost Vikings have been free. It's bonkers.
And they came on at the absolute best possible time.
Yeah.
I
Li
mean,
Ming, and she's like, no, 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 no.
Trial by
Yeah.
fire. It's like, you want to be a pro Vikings player? Survive Li Ming release.
What is this?
That's rude.
Blizz, please. Like, this is I honestly do feel bad about Free Vikings Week because of Li Ming's dominance in quick match rather.
I can't believe the number of posts I saw on Reddit this week. There was like, hey, help me survive Li Ming Week as Vikings. What do I do? What's the secret?
I just want to hit level 5.
Play AI.
Right.
That's my secret. Yeah.
There's actually somebody that's like top recommendation. I'm just playing AI.
Mhm.
Forget it.
Yeah. I mean, if you have aspirations to become a good Vikings player, here's a tip. If you like StarCraft, you will actually probably like the Vikings. I learned this recently because I played them myself for the very first time. And not during our stream, I don't think. If I did, it was... Well, it wasn't during the official stream, but I did play them earlier that day.
I think Jinx played them all 3 times.
Yes.
Yes.
So I played them, and I was talking to some other Vikings player, and they really do liken it to StarCraft, where it's a lot of actions per moment and all that kind of thing.
So much stuff going on. It's above my head, and I like specialists. I haven't even attempted them yet.
Yeah, and again, if you're having a good entrance to them, I should say, is Abathur. I think Abathur is like a more accessible version of them. I think I'll stick with learning Abathur first. Yeah.
But man, we had like a hell of a first game in our set of 3.
Yeah, so we have Dirty Casual Free Play Night. If you guys have never heard of it, we are playing on Tuesday nights at 7:30 Central. We play all free heroes, all free comps. So whether you're new or you're a seasoned veteran, you can try out these comps and see if they're good, if they sound good to you. We do them in quick match, so it's kind of a hard...
You never know what's going to come up. So it's not always a good matchup.
So yeah, we did. Our first match was really good. Let's see, who had made an appearance in there? We definitely had Brightwing. Let's see,
I played the
Big
Little
Oakley
Sparkle.
was on Brightwing.
I was ETC.
We had some Zeratul. We had some Lost Vikings.
Arthas.
We had Arthas. I think you had ECC and
you were
Johanna.
Kale.
And I played Kael'thas for, I think, most of the night. I think I did all 3 games, actually. Just because, well...
It wasn't a bad comp by any means.
Also, Kael'thas on Free Vikings Week? What kind of, like...
It was madness.
This is mean!
You
Blizz,
lived,
please!
No, you lived the dream at one point and obliterated their team with Chain Bomb.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of those.
It was great. So we didn't necessarily have a bad comp. It's just the free heroes coming out with Li Ming Week and the Rhaegar buff week. It was a tough matchup with only free heroes this week.
Well, you can see how we did for yourself. Our Twitch is twitch.tv/dirtycasualshow. And again, you can come and join us. We have a lot of fun, and we definitely could use some little cheerleaders.
Come chat while we're playing. We appreciate it. So we had one really good game, had a really close game, and then one that wasn't quite as close.
One that mysteriously vanished from the corner.
I don't know what happened to that
It was
one.
cut out in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
That happens.
But the first one was like a 40-minute game.
It was a very long game. I believe it was 35 minutes.
It was
I think two-
bonkers. We
two
were
of
like
our
level
games-
28 by the end or something like that.
It was kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
2 of our games went to the 30-minute mark or longer. So it
I
was.
don't even remember what map we were on.
I don't either. I blocked it out.
I blocked it out. I don't remember either, actually. But you can check it out in the VOD again.
we'll
check it out.
You can just go watch it. You tell us.
Yeah, you tell us who won. Yeah,
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
We were all drunk.
You weren't.
Not
But-
yet.
Not yet. I was probably drinking some wine, but so speaking of getting drunk, Valentine's Day is next week. And you like my segue? That was good, right?
That's beautiful.
So Valentine's Day is next week, and we have a new Valentine's Day skin.
Yay.
Yay! We talked about it, or either we talked about it, or at least it was shown.
It's been revealed.
It's been revealed. Is Morales' little love bug? It's not really a love bug skin, but it's very cute. She's pink.
Yeah,
she's got
yeah.
little wings, and
She throws hearts around. She has a thing for Jimmy.
it's
You
so
know.
cute.
Yeah, it's adorable.
The little Raynor inside of her medevac is
Right.
just the cutest thing.
It's a nice touch.
It's
That
really
bright
cute.
pink medevac.
Yes, you'll be seeing me. So they're going to be doing a bundle for Valentine's Day this year. Last year they released the Love Bug and Nubarak, who's actually, this is one of my favorite skins, and I don't own it. So thanks, Blizz. I have to buy this more money.
Once again,
yeah.
you got me.
Yeah, you got me. Even though I know a Nubarak will come back. He'll be back one day.
Oh, they've got it.
They got to bring him back.
They have to touch him
and
eventually.
when that happens, I will have the level
You'll be
3.
the
I will be the
loveliest
loveliest bug. The prettiest bug at the ball. So I'm really excited. I don't know they haven't revealed how much it'll be, so we'll find out.
It depends on if it's just skins or if they put the heroes in there with it. I mean, if
I think the heroes will always
if you do
come with
2
it.
heroes and a skin, it's typically what, $25
Something like that.
for 2 heroes and
That's
2
a mystery.
skins.
Well, it
I
is a
think,
mystery.
X amount of money where X equals how much Blizzard wants to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
So
it equals how much they want to take out of your wallet today.
all right. And the big chunk, so let's go ahead and dive into like the meat of this episode, because we don't really have time to do specialists today. Okay.
Because we got another big balance patch.
I said it was going to be small.
Well,
How small?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I expected a couple.
I thought this
There was a
kind
lot of surprises.
a,
Like,
a substantial.
yeah, this is
patch.
like a medium small.
It was pretty big. So let's go ahead. We can just start going down the line, because I
Right.
think almost all of these are worth talking about.
absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just kind of go down the patch notes. So the first person we have, or the first hero that we have on here, is Falstad. Falstad, essentially, he got just some little bit of damage buffs on his abilities. They said that they noticed that most people run an AA build on Falstad, which, I mean, I do personally,
Right.
because it's, to me, one of the better builds. But there used to be a build that was more like a mage Falstad, where it was really focused on his ability power.
Gathering power when you have
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned it before when they did his last adjustment. When he had gathering power and overdrive.
We can't talk today.
I
Yeah,
can't.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Yes,
So-
in overdrive, right? So he would just like Nova, kind of, essentially. So they're buffing his abilities. They're buffing Hinterland Blast, kind of significantly. I still don't think it's that good, though.
It's going to be really significant, actually, late game. I haven't run the numbers on it yet, but at the base, you're looking at 60 points of damage, scaling at almost 5% across the levels. I don't want to get down to it yet, but they have a similar adjustment on Kael'thas and Pyroblast, and it amounts to 500 points of damage at level 20.
So it may, but a 2-minute cooldown now on Hinterland Blast.
True.
This is a long time.
It's going to have to be really, really good in order to justify
And
a
if you
2-minute
miss,
cooldown.
do you imagine the toxicity that you
Oh,
will get if you miss?
Not it hard.
Yeah, just don't. I'd much rather take Gust.
flick up like one of those warhead switches. Remove the glass case.
That's the other thing too. Actually, that's a really good point, because I feel like with such a long cooldown, people are going to be more conservative about their ult use,
They're going to
which
want
is both good and bad.
they want it to hit. Like, they want to make sure they get something out of it. If
Right.
It's going to do that. So there are going to be maps where it's really good. Tight corridor maps. If the damage comes up, like I'm expecting it to, It's going to be fantastic on a lot of maps that have tight corridors, fighting in lots of tight spaces.
You better think twice about collecting that tribute.
Absolutely.
You're going to get zapped.
Zapped.
So,
like a bug zapper.
but on bigger
like
maps,
Static Shock. Like,
maps that are big and spread out, you're going to see probably less of a chance to use Hinterland and Blast. You'll probably see people staying with Gust.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I'll probably still be running auto attack myself. I like it. I think it's a fun style. Typically when I play those heroes, that's what I want to play is auto attack hero.
Yeah.
right click people.
I just want to right click and delete. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel. Actually, Falstad's really fun because he's so highly mobile, and he's a nice deviation from a Raynor. You know,
Right.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. The next hero we're going to talk about is Jaina. Jaina received, I think, an overall buff.
Absolutely.
Overall, it's a buff. Essentially, what they've done is they have increased the damage of her Frostbolt and her Cone of Cold, and they have reduced her basic attack damage.
I don't know how many times I've been running away from Jaina, and she's just auto-attacked me to death. Like, I was out of range of her abilities, like, she couldn't hit me with them, but she auto-attacked me to death.
Those mage AAs are no joke, for real. They were really no joke.
No.
Yeah, but now they kind of are, yeah.
And that's how they should be. I think that this is a good move for Blizzard.
Absolutely.
You think so? You agree, Argyle? The thing I like the most about this, actually, is I think it gives more viability to her Q build, her Frostbolt build, and that in itself is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it also makes it more rewarding, and it rewards better play because if you miss with a ability, you can't just kind of make it up an auto attack or something like that. You really got to hit them, and if you do hit them, it'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think it's a great move, and they're following this up. They did the same thing with Kael'thas.
Yeah, so
basically.
we can go ahead and actually just move to the next mage.
Right.
Kael'thas has received a slight balance. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and put a little asterisk next to this. A rework is still coming for this guy. So let's look at this with open eyes and hearts and
don't go crazy.
don't go crazy. Yeah, just trust me on this one. So the basic attack, we have the same, almost exact
Way
same
lower,
nerf.
yeah.
Yeah, way lower.
Significant reduction in his auto attack.
Yeah, we're
damage.
looking at 87 to 65. I mean, that's a huge.
That's 22 points off his auto attack damage.
I mean, what is that, like 30? That's like a 30% removal of his auto attack damage.
25%.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They really did address, I think, some of the biggest issues people have with Kael'thas. One, Arcane Barrier. Arcane Barrier now only has a shield amount of 150%, coming down from 200, and his gravity, and the duration of that has been reduced to 4 seconds from 6. So
Now he's going to have a harder time hitting that than just walking away from everything. 4 seconds is nothing, especially when it's coming from
It's a
6.
good spot for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's still going to be good.
yeah, it's still good. I
It's
mean,
just not like
These are
bonkers.
these are both fixes that we've said Blizzard could do for this in the past when we've talked about Kael'thas.
Yeah, Arcane Barrier was just too long. Personally, I just think it lasted too long. I think that mostly what it needed was the duration reduced, because 4 seconds is fine. 6 is actually a super long time in a
Especially in this game where people right now people are dying in the span of like 3 seconds. You're basically giving Kael'thas 3 lives by giving him a 6
yeah,
second
pretty
shield.
much. So the next thing, I think this is the biggest change, and you guys can argue with me on that, but Gravity Lapse has received a pretty significant nerf.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
This is the biggest one.
Yeah, Gravity Lapse is down from 1.5 seconds to 1 second.
They brought him in line with the other stun adjustments that they did recently to kind of fix the meta. He was the only one really that got missed in that setup.
Honestly, the craziest thing about this to me is that it is still a hugely powerful stun at 1 second. It's more powerful than Tyrande. And yes, he has to get a little bit closer, but he can also stun multiple targets a lot easier than Tyrande can.
But now it'll make landing his flame strike a little more difficult.
Yes.
And you might have to use verdant spears on that instead of the gravity
Right.
labs. Like it forces him to play differently.
I think
it's pretty big.
And
I think
also
overall it increases his skill cap.
Yeah, I think, yes, of course, then now landing flame strikes is a little bit harder. You can't just unload your entire combo into somebody and they just die in the span of that 1.5 seconds. It won't happen anymore. And on top of that, following up a stun will be a lot harder too. So, it doesn't sound like a lot, but half a second is a long
It's
time.
significant in this game. It's huge.
Phoenix cooldown has been increased
Thank
from
goodness.
40 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
It took long enough.
Yeah, honestly.
This dude's been out for like a year.
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
on.
That was
when-
a change that
When you're
needed to
using
come.
Phoenix to clear creeps. So like,
Right, it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is nothing.
shitting phoenixes out all over the place. They're everywhere.
They are reborn. Okay.
Right, yeah.
And
seriously.
60 seconds still isn't like terribly long.
No,
You'll
that's
probably
still
still
one
see
team
him
fight.
using it on
See,
creeps.
well,
No, I
that's the
don't
thing.
think so.
It's still a very good ultimate. It's just like 40 seconds was way too. Like 40 seconds is a good range for those kind of utility ultimates that we see, like False Start's Gust and even lower cooldown ones like Force Wall, where they don't really
They don't do any damage,
They
yeah.
set things up. Phoenix is stupid. Like it does a lot of damage,
A lot of
Yeah.
zoning.
a lot of
It's-
zoning.
yeah.
It's incredible
it's dumb.
on every night. Like there's a reason why that's picked like 85% of the time.
Right.
Well, on top of the fact that Power Blast is terrible.
It is, yes.
Pyroblast, I think, has its time and place, and it also got a buff
Yes.
in this patch.
It got a huge one,
It
actually.
did get a big buff. We have originally, so I don't need to bore anybody with numbers, but this is kind of significant. Again, it used to be 730 damage with a 4% scaling. Now we're 810 with a 5% scaling. That is enormous. Like that is a huge. That will one shot your Li Ming. So
Right. At level
provided
20,
she doesn't blink out of it.
yeah, at level 20, you can basically one-shot her.
If she is stupid enough to take glass cannon, you should just be like, hee hee. Yeah. I really think that, but the cooldown has been increased. Now
Like
this
they
is
did
what I
with
don't
all of
like.
the heroic
I mean, it makes
adjustments.
sense though. It's been increased from 50 to 100 seconds, so this is now a double cooldown. But like we said, it is going to do a ton of damage. I think it already does a ton of damage. Honestly, this
Yeah,
is
it
going to be really hurt. You have to be more aware of Kel'Thas casting at you and getting in range to do this, which is cool.
Yeah. And then to go with that, they've increased the cooldown significantly, and they've made the cooldown reduction from his level 20 upgrade much bigger as well. So now it reduces 25 seconds instead of 10. So it brings it back down to a 75-second cooldown, which is still
with presence of mind, the
right,
level 20.
The level 20 upgrade.
Mhm.
Palm Pyro.
Yeah, but nobody takes that because why would you take that when you
Nobody
have
takes
Bolt?
Pyroblast. So
When you have Bolt of the Storm on Kel'Thas, who has no escapes for anything, I don't know why you'd ever take that. Personally, even if I had Pyroblast, I probably would not take
Maybe he'll be one of those guys that they take both away from.
I think he's going to be.
Eventually.
I think
Really?
they're going to take it.
I
from
don't,
him.
man. I don't think so.
I think they will. I think they'll give him something else, like they did with Nova. They gave
Right.
her the stealth instead of Bolt.
Yeah, and how did that work out for her?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, she sucks.
Well,
She's dead. I can't believe Nova is fucking dead.
well, that's not the only thing they
Well,
changed on her to
StarCraft
kill her.
spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So, what do you guys think of the mages now? Do you think that are you happy with these changes?
I think it's a very good place for Jaina right now.
I think Jaina is going to be the top mage.
Yeah, I think so
honestly.
too. Honestly, because she still has a lot of utility since everything she does to freeze or applies
Slows,
frost.
yeah. Mhm.
And with her Frostbolt being buffed, that is huge because you're spamming that anyway. It's going to make up for her loss of AA damage, but also, like you were saying, give more viability to the Frostbolt builds, or even you might see more Frostbolt talents being woven in between to old builds. It's really good. I think that's super good because she was kind of getting slept on for a while. I think people weren't really picking her a whole lot.
Yeah, I think she was kind of. I think in NA specifically, Jaina is still a good pick. But when you have Kel'Thas, it's kind of like, why would I take her other than somebody else range like a Raynor or something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a really good flanker, better than Raynor in that case. But I think this is going to put her on top, even higher than Li Ming when Li Ming gets adjusted. Especially, I think she's going to be on top.
I think Li Ming will come down once people figure out that you just need to stand in some minions, but not in the middle of them, so that S of Johan doesn't mess you up.
Well,
Like, stand behind them, do your stuff from there. Really, the biggest problem with Li Ming is that if she stands in a bush, you're dead before you even have a chance to react.
let's go ahead and talk about that. at the
Which is
end.
exactly why they fixed Nova.
Right.
So that's really the problem here with Li Ming.
Next hero we have up is Thrall.
No, you skipped one.
I did?
Yeah, you skipped Nova.
Oh, well,
What she
she's
said.
dead. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
You can't buff a dead
actually, no, they
person.
really did give her something else that I actually really like this change if you haven't seen this. They've increased her snipe damage, which it needed. It desperately needed.
Significantly. They brought it almost back up to baseline.
Well, think about it this way. The way Nova used to be played, she would almost essentially always have a base of 40% extra damage on her snipe. Because she would have ambush snipe, which gives her 20%, and then she would get gathering power, which
Yeah.
would put her up at, somewhere around the 40% mark.
Unkillable. Yeah.
Yes. So what they did is they nerfed it. They took away Ambush Snipe and they took away Gathering Power, which essentially it gutted Snipe. It was terrible. Now, what they've done is they've increased the damage relatively significantly, and then they have changed the Snipe Master talent,
which it really needed. The change to Snipe Master is really, really good. So they increased the damage bonus when you land it from 5 to 12%. Huge, over doubled it. They increased the maximum damage from 50 to 60%, and they reduced the number of stacks from 10 to 5.
I have a question. If your first snipe of the game, say you hit it, do you get that 12% extra damage, or is that your next snipe?
Your next snipe.
Okay. And then your next one will be 24.
Right.
After that.
Yeah, so your first snipe is base. Your second snipe is plus 12%. Your third snipe would be plus 24%. And I played the Snipe Master build several times, and I like the build. I like what they were trying to do with it, but I could never get it stacked above about 20% before I missed. So
that's 4 snipes.
That's 4 snipes. Yeah. Like I could reliably get 4 in a row, and then a team fight would happen, and it would go to shit. Like, and the worst part is you have a team fight in the middle of a creep wave. Well, you aren't not doing anything against that. All those creeps are going to eat it, and that's what the biggest problem was. So I would get to 20%, which is about what they've brought the damage back up to. So they're basically giving you a baseline of the old Snipe Master.
Right.
And then you only need 2 snipes, 2 hits, to get to that 20% reliable that I could keep. So it becomes even less significant to miss.
And so we have a maximum now of 60% extra damage on your snipe, which it used to be 50, now it's up to 60, which would be a total of 5 stacks.
Yep.
Yes. So you only have to hit 5 in a row to get 60% extra damage. I think this is a lot more fair for Nova. I think it was honestly just too hard. It was just bordering on shitty talent just because of how difficult it would be to pull that off.
Yeah, I was never able to even get it up to max, no matter how conservatively I played and how much I ignored objectives and immortals and everything. I could never get it to that 50%.
This will make Nova more effective overall. So
I think it's good for her, for sure.
I think she's kind of an annoying bee. I think I've been killed by Nova once.
I haven't seen a Nova since.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's good. It's got a nice obvious downside, but you get a lot more out of it. 12% is really good. Even just like hitting your second one in a row is still really good.
Yeah, it don't need a lot to be able to feel the difference that's going to make, especially since they brought the damage back up.
Right. And I think it's kind of cool because it gives you that climbing, that ramping up kind of feeling that Gathering Power used to give you. But still, being like, hey, but you better play well though. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's going to reward skilled play.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go. Now we can talk about Thrall.
Yes, now we can go to Shrek.
Now we can go to Shrek, Dad. Shrek has received a slight nerf to his auto attack damage, and Sundering has received a slight nerf as the cooldown has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
okay. Yeah. I honestly think Thrall is fine.
I didn't think Thrall was a problem before, but
no.
Thrall is used a lot, like in Pro.
Yeah.
Because Sundering is like one of the best initiates in the game.
Good,
yeah.
It's a great initiate and it's a great disengage. And it's got a short enough cooldown you can use it whenever in either way.
Even 80 seconds, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah. This is the Uther Divine Shield cooldown increase again. Like, nobody stopped taking Divine Shield.
Right. And I don't think anybody will take Earthquake that often.
Man, what if I told you guys that someone in Dota has Sundering as a baseline ability and on like a 12-second cooldown?
That's such bullshit. I'd be so mad.
His name is Earthshaker.
Oh my god. Me die. You cry every time.
But to compensate, he can only cast it like once before he's out of mana forever. But.
Yeah, exactly. And does he have to get in your face like Thrall does? Or is he like a mage?
No, he's like a support initiator.
Yeah, see, that's different. You can't do that and then just wreck your face.
Although it is fun as fuck.
Yeah.
to play him as a carry.
You're like, I got this.
Yeah.
But Thrall really can be a carry. He can be an excellent carry for your team. And he does a ton of damage, and I think he requires a lot of skill to play. So I actually like Thrall. I think he's in a good place. I don't think this totally changes anything. Like you said, like Uther was. So the next one we have is Rhaegar. Rhaegar received some much needed nerfs, but I don't think this was enough, honestly. This is a tiny slap on the wrist.
I think you're underestimating these numbers again with scaling.
The one I don't understand and don't like, because I love this ability so much, is the Feral Lunge, essentially nerf that they did. The basic attack damage bonus that you would get from being in Ghost Wolf form has been reduced to 75% from 100%. So you would normally do double damage. Now you only do, almost double damage.
Right.
Well, now he can't man fight everybody in the game.
Well, first of all, I need to have a talk about that because sometimes when you fear lunge, it doesn't even work. Like you're just like you're like lunging, but you're not attacking. It's like this is one of the most annoying bugs I've ever had.
Yeah.
It is the most. So they need
So
to
like,
fix that.
it like tries to do it like when you're in the range, and then they get out of range and just does nothing. Then
No, because I'm like following. It's like it's hard to. I'm like doing
He's
something and nobody can
micro-lunging.
see me. He's like micro lunging. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like trying to bite him. Like I'm gonna get
Ankle
you.
biter.
I'm an ankle biter. Yeah, it's horrible. I do it probably 4 times before it
Oh my
registers.
God.
It's so bad. I'm like furiously clicking on the person I'm trying to bite, and they're just running away from me. It's terrible. So that was nerfed. I don't really think that was needed, but okay. I mean, whatever. Do what you will to my man. Don't you ever come near me or my son ever again. My son Dragar. But let's see here. So and then the next one is Lightning Shield. So this I will agree. This needed a nerf.
yeah, this needed a nerf,
Absolutely.
and it's pretty decent.
It's the damage has been reduced by 6 damage. It's not very much. I don't know. I don't think this is enough.
It doesn't sound like much, but once you scale it up again to level 20 or level 16 in this case is where it starts becoming a problem. It becomes significant.
Right.
So, and especially since the level 16 talent is percentage increase off the base.
That's
So when you think about the fact that they've scaled it back and then the damage is based off of the new scaling, I think you're going to see a significant reduction in the damage overall without having to gut the talent and start over.
It strikes me as one of those abilities also that since Lightning Shield is its damage, its DPS is based on how long you can stick to your target. If each individual hit of that orbiting shield is reduced, and you don't, if you could, what could have been done in a couple hits before now has to be spread across 3 to 4 more hits. Yeah, exactly. So that's a couple more seconds of you potentially sticking to somebody that puts you in more danger. I don't know. Like,
We'll see. I think
Yeah, exactly,
I really want to test this. I mean, I'm really glad they didn't just like completely nerf him.
Right.
But I think there's 2 talents that are problematic. He has 2 problematic favorite talents, I think, which is his Earth Shield talent and the Rising Storm talent. And so I think actually Earth Shield's a huge problem. This is a very low cooldown, talking about like 6 or 7 seconds, maybe 8. But 15% shield on somebody. That is a really ridiculously low cooldown shield.
yes.
And that's
Tassadar who?
yeah, exactly. Like why? I can do that myself. Watch this. Like
and when I do that to you, you're going to be doing extra damage around you.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's just super and then Rising Storm, which we all know now is every time it hits somebody, it gains power. I have seen an old video of an ETC getting a Dream ult and somebody just putting Lightning Shield on him and he killed everybody. That's messed up. Like that
Right,
should
yeah.
not happen. That's not fair.
That's not allowed.
That's 2 people. That's 2v5 essentially is what that just was. It was pretty bad.
I honestly think Earth Shield should be a separate cooldown. Like, get put on the action bar and make it a separate cooldown and have it be way longer instead of just being tied to Lightning Shield.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most elegant change to that talent.
Mhm.
I think that's a fair change, honestly, because the 15% is not that big of a deal. Like the amount isn't.
No, it's
isn't
not the
huge.
Maybe
amount.
make it every like 15 seconds or every 20 seconds.
Right.
Instead of every time you cast Lightning Shield, which is a very low cooldown ability.
And he has talents to reduce the cooldown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
even to reduce it further by using Blood and Thunder. I mean, this is it's
Can you take that talent that like puts the shield on yourself also to give yourself Earth Shield?
Yes.
Does that
Yes.
work? Oh my god.
Yeah. But
Now-
people tend to take
Now,
it.
does that actually give you the Earth Shield, or is it an untalented Lightning Shield?
I actually don't know the answer to that question.
Hmm.
I'll have to
Because
check it
those
out.
are 2 very, very different scenarios. If
Yes.
it gives you the same one,
Game
holy
theory
crap.
finds out.
Yeah, we'll have to find that out. I'm not sure. But most people tend to take the radius increase on 1.
Yeah, because then ETC can screw everybody up.
It's true. It does reach out almost that entire way. So
We'll have to experiment.
I think this is okay. The last hero that has been touched is the Bay, Diablo.
I was worried.
You
When I
got so
saw,
scared.
I opened up the patch notes and I like looked and I was like, "Whoa, Diablo's on here!" And I was like racing through my head of like everything that could change. And I was like, "Oh, cool! They just changed level 4 talent."
Yeah,
Like-
the damage has been reduced a little bit for Fire Devil, which is what do you know what this talent does?
That's the one that after you fire stomp, it gives you the
Burning Rage?
Burning Rage.
Oh, okay.
Which I mean, okay, now let's get something straight. It hits hard.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah,
it was
it hurts.
actually like starting from level 4, Diablo can wave clear like very well, and it just gets better as he keeps leveling Fire Stomp.
Yeah, he hurts so much.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it also does more damage than your typical just always on Burning Rage right off the bat. So you're able to get really secure kills because Diablo's all about sticking to people. I was just concerned because, like, I know they were talking about like removing stuns from people, and like Diablo is like Stun Master Supreme.
I don't think they'll remove that from him. It's an essential part of his kit, and it's a part of playing him well.
So there was like a million like worst case scenarios that like came on, and they were like Burning Rage reduced damage. And I was like, oh shit!
Dodge
Dodge
the
the
bullet.
bullet.
How
yeah.
dare you get me that worked out? Have a panic attack at my desk because I thought my daddy was getting nerfed.
Daddy, no! So the last two ones that we have here are, I think these are big ones too. Dying will no longer cause the player's healing valve cooldown to be reset. I didn't even know it did this,
I
but
didn't
totally,
know-
yeah.
I knew this. I came across this about a month ago. I noticed it because I hit a well, and then I went to a fight and got obliterated, and the icon underneath reset.
Right.
Like,
Is that a bug or is it always working?
No, I think it's worked as intent. I think that is how it used to be.
Holy shit.
yeah.
Which is a crazy, if you think about it, like Murky and Leoric, that's really good for them.
Yeah. This is a indirect nerf to Murky.
And Leoric. Because now their well will now be on cooldown, even if they are alive, come back very quickly.
I just feel like
Personally attacked.
betrayed.
Yeah. I
That
feel,
I didn't know about this sooner.
yeah.
Now I'm like, shit, am I that unobservant? That,
No, I think it's not super obvious, and because you don't need to usually go back and tap it, like,
Right.
Yeah.
and
it's not-
if you're Leoric, you respawn at full health anyway, so.
right. And if you've just died, you're not really paying attention to your wells anyway. You're just like, shit, I need to get back out there and do something. So
Mhm.
even though you run past like 6 of them on your way back out,
I
you're
just
not
think that
necessarily watching.
I mean, okay, so obviously this isn't going to really affect my gameplay because I always treated it like it was on cooldown. But man, if I had known about that, I would have been like way more cavalier about my well use early on in the early part
yeah,
of the game because it's like, well, shit, I'm going to die anyway. Might as well take a sip, like
Yeah.
you know.
I think this will affect me because I didn't know it did that, but I definitely am pretty liberal with my little sippies from the fountain. So I don't know if this is going to affect me or not. Frankly, I
I think this is going to alter a lot of people's gameplay because they
think
were
twice before.
they were taking advantage of it without realizing they were taking
Right,
advantage
yeah.
of it.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I think you're going to see some people's gameplay be significantly changed. You're going to see some people that were doing extremely well maybe do less well. Maybe not a lot, but it'll hurt them.
Yeah.
And the last one, totally a big one. The fixed an issue that could cause Greymane's Gildan Cocktail to deal more than the intended amount of damage in certain situations.
Ooh.
This was a really big deal because he was actually banned for a short time in the Blizzard esports tournaments because of this bug.
It would essentially do double damage to the initial target it hit.
So
Is that why people would just get like
Deleted.
obliterated?
yeah,
I
from
watched-
80% health to nothing,
I saw that happen to you. You were playing Tyrael the other day.
and I just died.
You were at like 75% health, and so this jackass Greymane
Threw a stink
sticks out,
bomb.
like, "Hey, dummy, catch!" And then Oakley's dead.
Yeah, I was just gone. It's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, because I think it would amount to, I mean, because if it was talented and stuff like that, I mean, we're looking like 1,600 damage or
Yeah,
something
at
crazy.
level 16, where
Yes.
you have
Empowered
the
cocktail.
200% to the initial target and the empowered cocktail, so you get another 80%. Like,
It's
So you did,
silly.
like a pyroblast on a 12-second cooldown. Like,
it was dumb.
It
Yeah,
was serious. So yeah, he was banned, and it had to do specifically with the perfect aim talent.
something with the way that mana return and hitting heroes
I don't know. They just
interacted.
screwed
It was
up.
weird. But yeah, if you didn't take that talent, it never happened. So suddenly, perfect aim became the only talent to take in that tier for the cocktail build.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing Wolfheart and Viciousness. Is it Viciousness? I think
Yes,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
on the way back in. I mean, I prefer to play that way anyway, but I
Yeah.
thought it was funny. I definitely, I
I did
capitalized.
feel like that.
yeah.
I didn't even know that was a bug. I just knew that like Man, that hits hard. I hope I don't get hit by it. That was basically my thought playing against Great Bane.
I mean, don't kid yourself. It still hurts.
It hurts, but not like just
But it
kills you in one hit.
Yeah.
Like
it's
Kill
not
him
gonna
in one hit.
it's not gonna one shot Li Ming.
Oh god, no, for real. It really would have one shot her. Oh my god, that's sad. I feel bad. Poor little Li Ming
Yeah.
players.
How does it feel to play against somebody that's broken?
Feels good. I play a lot of Broken Heroes, to be quite honest with you. I was playing
You kind of have to. You don't get to do it forever.
You don't get to. It's a limited time offer. You gotta get it while it's good. I mean, I feel a little bad sometimes, but I'm over it.
About as bad as you did playing Old Nova.
Oh no, yeah, I know. I have to admit, I feel bad afterwards, but during, man, it felt good. You feel like MLG Pro, like, even though its super is just right click and kill at a certain point. If you have enough people protecting you, especially, you're like, no one's gonna catch me.
Yeah,
I'm a full supporter of playing Flavor of the Month Heroes.
Yeah, are you? Yeah. So
you have to.
Fun.
Rhaegar is my babe right now, and the one thing I want to bring up about Rhaegar is I don't think so. Right now, his win percentage on Hot Logs is 62%. That is broken. I don't care how you look. I think that's one of the highest win rates I've ever seen.
Well, there was a post on Reddit
data
today that took some snapshots of the meta at different points from Hotslog, and he is the absolute highest win rate
Ever.
Like, a pick. Yeah,
Yes.
he's the top.
I think I've lost twice with him so far. Something like
He's
that.
top pick, top win. Like,
You gotta respect the Ray God.
it's awful. He's so impossible.
I
to play
don't think that
against.
these nerfs are gonna bring him down very much. They might bring him down a little bit, but did you see that like Tyrande is under 50% now? That is sad. I think it's only because of Rhaegar, though. It's only because Rhaegar is on the teams and he's a superior support, so that everybody else goes down.
Right. It's the Rhaegar effect.
The
basically.
Rhaegar effect.
That's basically
I just
what
hope
it
it
is.
takes some heat off Diablo because he was top up Hero League logs for a while.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yes, I think he's at 56 or 7.
People realize
Yeah,
how
he's
good
still
Diablo
really good.
was.
Really
Like-
good, yeah.
He's still a good hero, but this is what happens when somebody gets introduced and they're overpowered. It shakes everything up, and you see it specifically in hero leagues where you can only have
One. Mm-hmm.
So Rhaegar's win percentage goes up because only one team can pick him, and Tyrande, the next best support, goes down because she loses to Rhaegar.
Mm-hmm.
So
Something kind of interesting, we were just talking about Uther and how, back when we were talking about him and nerfing his ultimate and all that kind of thing, he was one of the top, especially in pro scenes, top support in the game. Uther has the lowest win rate in Heroes of the Storm right now, which I thought was one of the weirdest things I have ever seen in my life.
now it's interesting. It's interesting because when you look at a pro scene,
It's very different.
It's very different. He is picked and played very well, and he wins a lot. The difference is when you're playing Hero League and Quick Match or Team League, you don't necessarily have people that can play him well.
Right.
I think
So-
he
and they-
requires a coordinated team.
And if they try to take him, they don't do well. And so his pick rate is overall very, very low compared to the other supports.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that he is so incredibly far
He's
below the other
inept,
supports.
it feels like,
Right,
in
yeah.
Quick Match.
Right,
It
yeah.
feels completely like this is not going to work at all. So as far as these patch notes, I think I'm pretty happy with this patch. I think they did a lot of stuff that
I was
it made
surprised
sense.
at how much, because the Blizzard tweeted out saying it was going to be a very small patch, and I think this is actually going to change a lot more things
Than
I expected. Definitely
Yes.
from them saying small patch.
Yeah, this is going to be a significant shakeup to a lot of places. I'm interested to see how Kael'thas plays after this, honestly, because it's a big change to his kit.
And I'm sure you're itching to try Nova too.
Yeah, I really want to try Nova again. I
The
want to
new
try
one.
Snipe Master with the new changes.
Nova.
New
Nova. Yeah.
New Nova.
I definitely.
New Jungle Nova.
Oh my God. I definitely think the changes to Nova put her in a much, much better spot. I think she's going to be a lot more fun to play, more rewarding, is the big thing.
I think
even if you don't take Snipe Master, I think she's going to be much more rewarding to play.
I'll see. My biggest issue with Nova is that and this was talked about on the Reddit, is that it completely changed her style, and the fantasy of being a ghost, being that sniper is kind of gone because you have more of like a utility, sustained damage role, which is, when I think of sniper, you do not think of sustained damage. That's not something you think of. You think boom, headshot. Like that's what you think.
And I think that they're redressing part of that by bringing the base snipe damage back up.
Yes.
Now, you still should take one in the chamber and
Oh yeah, definitely.
and the vulnerability on crippling shot.
But mostly because that's part of your rotation to keep your damage up. Once
Right.
all your abilities are exhausted, one in the chamber is now gone, it's dead,
Right.
and you should be literally a ghost by that. You should leave. Like,
So I'm interested to see how it all pairs together with this new damage increase, taking her back up to almost a little bit under her previous baseline.
I got a question about Nova.
Mhm.
Does she get is it still damage bonus out of stealth only
No,
for snipe?
no,
No.
that was ambush.
that was ambush time.
So can you like apply the vulnerability first with
Yes,
You always could.
you always could.
even with
Yeah, because it was like
It was a 1
second or
second.
half a second out of stealth.
so if you just hit it fast enough.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So, and
Yeah.
the other thing that used to be different with Nova is that her hollow decoys used to apply vulnerability.
Hmm.
They
so
can no longer do that.
They can no longer do that
Because
because it
those-
shares a tier essentially.
Yeah, they can't apply the vulnerability unless you have lethal decoy, and lethal decoy and vulnerability share a tier.
Hmm.
So you
Mhm.
have to pick which one you want.
So basically, the old Nova would pop her clone and wait for it to hit because it would basically what the clone does, it cycles through abilities, especially if you have lethal decoy, and you'd see vulnerable pop up on your target, and you'd be able to immediately shoot them with a snipe, and then another vulnerability, and then keep going. So you could just chain vulnerability, and it deletes the target essentially. Because now they're taking 25% extra damage on top of your gathering power, which is now stacked at 30% or whatever.
Yeah.
So on top of ambush snipe, on top, yeah. So it's
Right,
just
yeah.
So you can't rely on your decoy to increase your damage anymore.
Really, and I think I really wish they could have brought her back to that, just removed all those multiplicative issues. I think that's really the biggest problem with her. She had so many multipliers. You know,
Right.
that's all she was just like a multiplier machine. I think they either scaled those back, it would still preserve Nova, but just not make her so fucking dangerous. Like it one-shotting people.
I think they're working towards that, but they can't do it all in one big sweep because
No.
they just gutted her and redid her, so they can't just immediately start throwing her numbers back up.
Right.
It's going to be a little bit at a time to get back up there, and it all has to come from her snipe. Like the snipe has to find the right spot where she's a threat, but having it on the enemy team doesn't make you go, well, shit, we have to make sure we kill her and always know where she's at. Or having her on your team is, yes, we're going to fucking dominate. Because that was her,
or we're gonna lose. Yeah, it's
Right,
one of the
right.
two. Yeah,
because that was her problem. When her by herself in a match completely changed the game. 100% of the time. There is no other hero that does that. Kael'thas used to.
Kael'thas to a degree, yes. I think there is another hero that does that. One other hero in the game, Cho'Gall. Cho'Gall completely changes the match.
That's because Cho'Gall's two heroes.
Yes, I know, but you said that's still. I think he completely
Valid,
changes everything. Like you suddenly are like, wait a minute, now we have to look for this thing, or how are we going to deal with this? What is our answer for Cho'Gall?
Right. But
And Nova needs an answer too, or she used to. I don't really think she needs one now. Frankly.
No, she's not a threat
Mm-mm.
right now at all. The thing with Cho'Gall is that you can see him, you know where he's at, you know more or less what he's going to do all the time. Anybody can find him. I mean, and he's two people. It's not one person roaming around blowing everybody up. It's two people
Right.
roaming around doing whatever it is Cho'Gall is doing.
Doing Cho'Gall, just Cho'Gall things.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
whatever.
yes, I agree.
Little
He does.
Cho'Gall thing.
Little Cho'Gall things.
I agree that he
what
does.
You doing? Could you
He does
imagine?
absolutely change the way a game works because he's crazy. But I don't think he's as big I don't think that him by himself is as big of an impact as Nova was.
All right, so I think that what was not here that you think, what did you expect? What did you expect to see in this balance patch? And what isn't there?
Garnetera removed.
Garden of Terror removed from the
That
video.
map needs to go so bad. It needs to go the way of Haunted Mines until they fix it.
Seriously, it's just so unfun.
Yeah, I
don't-
always groan
it's-
when we get that.
It is the only map that I don't ever want to play. Like I like it less than the Battlefield maps. Seriously.
It's liked less than Haunted Mines, and that
Yeah.
has been out of the game,
Like,
so that's
I-
saying something.
like,
I actually liked Haunted Mines, so
I've
I
kind
don't
of
like it.
grown. I've kind of grown on the Diablo maps that came
Yes.
out recently. Like I hated both of them immediately, and hated them for a very long time.
I still
especially
don't-
shrines.
I still don't like the Immortals. The Shrines I like.
But those have grown on me. But like Garnetera, basically any of the ones where you control a monstrosity, like Dragon, Garden. I hate those maps so much.
The thing
They're
is,
so boring because all you do is you just chase the target around. I mean,
Yeah,
the garden's way worse about it.
Yes.
But even the dragon one is super unfun because it's just you contesting for one objective for the entire game, and then you finally get it, and you get some damage done, and then you're just back to doing the same thing. It's like grinding in Heroes. Like, it's just so boring.
I think I like Dragon personally. The thing I like about Dragon is, unlike other maps where like whole team fighting is more important, it encourages small skirmishes.
Right.
And I think that's, I don't know of any other, maybe Tower of Doom kind of does that, but not really for most of the shrines that pop up. This is the only one that really encourages really small skirmishes, like dueling almost.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I think in like Hero and Team League, where you see that map's coming up and you can kind of adjust your
right. In
your
quick
team.
match, it's
in
kinda
quick
sucks.
match, it's just like, okay, cool. I've got Abathur and
People who can't duel at all.
yeah, exactly.
I've got Abathur and Nova and Lost Vikings.
Oh my god, die. I mean,
Right,
die.
yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, cool.
Awesome. We're not winning this map. We're not winning this objective
Yes.
at all.
It seems very team comp important. Like you
And-
pick a very specific comp.
And
for that.
one of our friends hates Dragonshire just because
In quick
it's
match.
in quick match,
Mhm.
just because it is 100% based on team comp. Whoever has the better team comp for that particular map wins. Like, there's only so much your team comp can do to counter that objective.
What about you? Was there anything, Oakley? Was there anything that you thought might be there that wasn't there, or you want to see?
Not really,
No.
honestly. This was right about what I expected to see. I expected the Rhaegar changes to come very, very quickly because he was so over the top. I don't consider Leeming a problem. Like, I just think her siege and the burst out of a bush is a little bit nuts, but you're not going to make adjustments to that after the first week. You're going to let her settle down, like Argyle was saying.
I was a little
with the
surprised
Butcher.
at first, honestly, that there wasn't anything in there, but then Blizzard quick replied with, hey, we don't want to adjust the wrong thing. And I think that was a really nice response. And
Yes.
I can okay, cool. I respect that.
Yeah, I think I personally did expect a S of Johan change right away, because I think that is the most glaringly obvious problem.
Yes.
Astral presence, I think, could be tweaked, and it's not. I mean, it's not as good. Again, not as advertised, but we could probably live with that. I have a huge problem with the idea of almost guaranteed, one shotting someone with a truck size skill shot. That's not. It's not hard, and it's not fun. Right? It's not fun to play against. You're like, this is not fun. I just got blown up because she can't miss. And she should miss.
Because this takes up the entire lane.
Yes. I can pretend I'm running away, but, if she's even somewhat decent at it, it just takes a little bit of practice. Kind of like her, it is less hard to land that than it is to land Tyron to stun. And Tyron to stun is not very big, and it has a good range on it. It's way harder to land that than it is Wingwings. So I don't think it should be that way. It should not be that way. It should be harder to land that. So I was surprised, but I think we'll see it. I actually think we might see it next week. We'll see. If not next week, then
I'm thinking 2 weeks. I don't think we'll see an adjustment to it in a week. I think they're going to let her play out in quick match and Hero League, Team League, see if people adjust to her, see what adjustments people are making, and then do some kind of tweak.
They'll nerf her Zero Week up once her bundle leaves the store.
Oh my god, I hope not. I just bought it. I have to say, I do love that Star Chariot though. So
it's hilarious.
No regrets. Yeah, no regrets. I'm gonna get it tattooed like Star Princess. So that pretty much covers it for this week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a good week. There's a decent amount of balance changes. I like them. Overall, I think they're all fantastic.
I like it. But yeah, there's a lot of balance changes, and I think it's gonna be a better week. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna get better, everybody. It gets better. That's terrible. Yeah. What do you guys think? Did you guys expect something that wasn't there? Did you, was there something there that surprised you? I know we were surprised.
Let us know.
Let us know. You can like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, That Dirty Casual. We're on Twitch TV, Dirty Casual Show. Again, Tuesdays at 7:30. We have our stream, 7:30 Central Time. We're on Twitter, Dirty Casual Show. And you can go ahead and find us on iTunes and Stitcher and Podbean.
What about Blogspot?
Well,
They got to.
No.
Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to you.
It's still there. It's on my phone.
That's at dirtycasualshow.blogspot.com.
Have fun in the Nexus. See you next week.
This podcast is part of the Frozen Fox Radio Network. For more shows and information, visit frozenfoxradio.com and follow us on Twitter @FrozenFoxRadio.